No means no. Let me just say
Boundaries.
we'll clear up that story. If someone tells you they're not going to do something like 5, 6, 26 times, leave it at that.
Okay, so we're back. I'm in Boise visiting my man, finally.
So
So I've got the topic cards, and we're just going to go through them randomly. This is one for couples. All right. How do you calm down after a fight? And I think in this, what are things that we never do during a fight? Like what?
There's a shit ton we don't do during a fight. We don't. I don't think I've ever seen us like name call or degrade the other person. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot that we don't do during a fight. Most of our fights are logical.
Yeah.
And as bad as that seems, you know.
And it stays very quiet because I clam up. I either lose track of what I want to say or I just kind of shut down. And you've actually gotten annoyed at that. You're like, would you just yell? Because then we could yell and I could have an enemy and be mad at you. But because you're sad, I can't be mad at you.
And I don't even think I don't think either of us yelled during a fight.
No.
I don't think I've yelled. I mean, granted, so we've had, I don't know if I would ever call what we had fights. I mean, I guess that's as close to a fight as we're going to get. We've had disagreements, we've had arguments.
Yeah.
Like things that we don't do during a fight. We don't yell, we don't name call, we don't degrade. And I think that is
nothing physical, of course.
Oh, I didn't even register that. But yeah, I think
that
should
some
be
people do. Some people do.
It's true. I think if you live by those like 4 things, if you're in a fight with your, I mean, there's like 5 rules for a fight that I like to think of, and that's don't degrade your partner, don't name call because it's just stupid. Don't yell because generally speaking, like raising your voice isn't really like what's the point of you raising your voice? You're raising your voice to as like a almost a like threat of violence. Otherwise, it's just
it's an intimidation thing.
Yelling. Who cares?
Yeah.
Don't strike your partner because at that point, I think Ronda Rousey should come to your house and just whoop your ass.
Kind of a Jaeger.
You like hitting women. I think women should hit you.
Oh.
And I mean like well-trained women, fucking Holly Holm, Amanda Nunes in here, you know.
There you go.
And then number 5, always end your fight with a kiss.
Oh.
Maybe not right then because that just comes off as weird, but like before you go to bed.
Oh, that's true. Joe says, he goes, I don't know what idiot ever came up with like movies and all this stuff that in a fight you kiss a woman because that makes her happy or it calms her down. He's like, it's like trying to kiss an alligator. You're gonna get your face bitten off.
Yeah, and like whenever I say end your fight with a kiss, I mean don't go to bed angry. You know, neither of you are gonna sleep well that night. So as far as like how do you calm down after a fight, what I will normally do if we have a discussion, if we have an argument, separate yourself from the argument. I like to go and work out. I don't care what you do. You go and work out. You go and fish. Do something that's not harmful to yourself. Don't go drinking and driving. You know, but do something that's going to calm you down. For me, it's working out. That's kind of usually how I've dealt with like fights or stuff in the past. If something just really heats me up, generally you'll find me at the gym at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
But then you need to, before you guys go to bed that night, I would say talk with your partner after the fight, take responsibility for what you've done. I think we've done this quite a bit, you know, like not quite a bit. We don't argue that much, but whenever we do, like I'll text back, you know, I'll just be like, hey, I'm sorry, you know, and the biggest thing is say you're fucking sorry, be humble. You know, I know a lot of people, they never say I'm sorry during or after a fight. It's like, well, you need to be sorry. You need to take responsibility for what you've done, how you made that person feel, and fix that. You know, and as long as you can fix that, you're good. And then don't go to bed angry. At least try not to. You're not in charge of the other person's emotions, but you're in charge of what you did to them to cause that effect. So, yeah, that's kind of my 5 rules for a fight.
Yeah. Pretty much the same thing. I like to, and this is something that mom and dad always did. They said, if you're on the phone, you never hang up. Like, just hang up on the person and shut down the conversation. And,
Depends.
And let me, like, how?
If you can't get a word in edgewise, and this is something
Okay,
about here.
true. Yeah.
Like if they're just berating you and just tearing you down, again, don't do that.
Exactly.
But if they're just berating you and tearing you down and you can't get a word in edgewise,
Screaming at you.
hang that up. Hang that up. Break up with them.
Oh gosh.
over text. Who cares about that?
Okay, that's kind of true. But yeah, like if you're upset, if you've said something, you know, if you're if you're in a like it's discussions that we have, our fights are really more discussions, and our points of pushing each other's buttons is sarcasm, because we are both very sarcastic people. And so if it's something like that, you know, like you said, if you're not screaming at each other, calling names, not getting a word in edgewise, all that, if it's a calm conversation, or if it's a little heated, but it's a decent conversation. Hey, fireworks! Look! Oh my gosh!
Wow, we were really having a moment there.
Shut up! It's so pretty, and here you can actually see it. Oh my gosh, I love fireworks. I'm a kid. I love it. And at the house, it's all trees. You can't see anything.
I think you're crying.
Because
You are. You're
it's
tearing
pretty.
out of the fireworks.
Because it's so pretty, and then you made fun of me. And I did. I felt like an idiot. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid.
No, you're good.
Squirrel! Fireworks!
Oh, I love it.
Anyway.
I love it. You have a tear on your face.
Because I was being a weirdo. But yeah, so if it's a normal adult tense conversation, you don't hang up the phone, because that's just shutting the other person down and basically saying that what they have to say isn't important. And it leaves them, I know for me it would anyway, leave them so freaked out and like, all right, where do we stand? Can I call you? Are you going to call me? Like, you know, so just don't do that. And then never walking out in the middle of a fight. If you want to say like, I need a minute, hey, I'm going to go take a walk, something like that, but never just walking out the door. Because again, that's that leaving that person hanging in fear.
And I would say, so that brings up a good point, is communicate. You
Yes.
know, like whenever you're talking about, there's more fireworks. Whenever you're at that point where you're just like, I need a minute, say like, I need a minute. You know, if you're getting to that point where you're mentally like about to come unhinged, just be like, hey, I'm going to take 5. We're going to come revisit this, but leave me alone for a second. Go walk around the block, do whatever.
And that is the key thing, is say, I need 5, or we need to take even a day, but we will come back and finish this. Don't just leave it out in limbo land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I know that you will do this a lot. Not even just the like, hey, I love you, or good night, or something. Like some sort of communication after, even if you left things on a tense note. But a lot of times you will come back, even without me saying anything, and you'll go, we're okay. Like, even without me asking, like, oh, is this, even if it was something small and it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna break up over this, you know, you'll say that a lot. You'll be like, we're okay. And that brings, even if you stay frustrated for days, that brings such a massive sense of relief and like a connection again.
And I think you need to be abundantly clear with your partner, like what's going on. I know for you and I, like distance is a huge thing. I can be having a shit day here. And you know, no matter how you cut it, you know, your partner, being that they're intrinsically like tied in with you, they're going to catch quite a bit of that. I would say. No, I'm not quite a bit, but I will say, like, you know, because they're the person who's closest to you. If you're having a shitty day, they're going to be having a little bit of an off day. That goes back to like communicate, and you've seen this at work, you know, where like a doctor will get frustrated. The big thing is like, tell your partner what's actually frustrating you. Just be like, it's not you that I'm mad at, it's the situation. Or say like, look, I'm having a bad day right now, so I might be a little bit irritated if we continue this conversation. It's not an easy thing to do like while you're there, especially if you're already like at your boiling point whenever you start a conversation with somebody.
Looking for the fireworks.
Yeah, I literally thought I just saw one. I don't know if that was a tower out there or what. I thought I saw like a little red light, and I was just like, that was
No.
the lamest one.
And that is a huge thing, especially for the women, which we're kind of going to get into in another episode, talking about, you know, how women and men can be most helpful to each other. But don't push your guys to talk. Don't do it, because when guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but when guys
I can't speak for all men. Let me just say that.
Well, just in general though, like
Okay.
you, the people you know, the patterns you see with guys, you know. But when your guy needs to think, when he's frustrated, if he's even sad, like anything, a lot of times guys will just need that time to themselves to process stuff. Oh, yeah. So the more you push them and like, what's wrong? What's wrong? How can I help? How can I help?
Yeah.
And then taking it to, why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you doing this? That will piss them off so much more, and it pushes them farther and farther back into that cave. And that means it's going to be even longer before they share with you what's going on and what they need. So I think, like you said, a good compromise is for the guys to say, and the girls too, whoever is in that frustrating situation, to be like, this is what I'm mad at, or who I'm frustrated at or sad or whatever, but can we talk about it later? Yeah. And then leave it at that, because you're then at your peace of mind knowing it's not you didn't screw up, they're upset at this other thing, and they said they will share it with you later when they're ready. And
that's a huge, we just keep building off of each other. This is
will probably be the main part of the conversation.
At this point, oh no, my battery's running low.
I'll get it.
At this point, this is the end of the, we've been recording for over an hour now, and I mean, like, literally the battery's running low and I was at full charge. But we just keep building off of each other. And you had said, I don't know where my plug-in is. I think it's on the side.
Back there. Okay.
Wait.
Keep talking.
Oh, that one over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Left side. But what did you said?
Give your guy space, you know, whoever's frustrated.
Yes.
Clarify who or what you're frustrated at, so your partner knows that it's not them. Because I know, like, for me, I then will go over and over and over and over like a crazy person. What could I have done? What could I have said? Did I screw up? Oh my gosh, this is blah, 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 blah. And I am the queen of what if. I will what if myself down 10,000 rabbit holes, versus if someone had just said, hey, it's not you, it's work, or it's my parent, or it's whoever, but let's just not talk about it right now.
So I would say, like, imagine a fight as like a pot of water. You know, and the more you talk about it, the more heat that you're going to apply to it, the longer it's going to be on that heat. Right. So, you know, and your thing is to, like, keep it from hitting that literal boiling point. So the more you talk about something that frustrates you, the more frustrated that you're going to get. So once you're getting to that point where, and again, like we were saying, you know, you can be talking about something else that irritated you, not your partner, but right. Something else that irritated you. And you're kind of, I know, at least for me personally, if I start to talk about something that's just like, just annoying me, just like pet peeves, and like, I know you'll hear about it a lot, but like, it's like a snowball, you know, like I'll start talking about it and then it like grows and grows and grows. And then at some point it's like the snowball going downhill. It's like, at some point you just need to be like, hey, let's take like 30 and let's come revisit this, because then you've already said what you needed to say, and you can start at this point and finish off the conversation without getting to the point where you're like arguing. And that doesn't, like, that's not us arguing about with each other. That's me like with something else that's just irritating the fire out of me.
Right.
And then trying to come back and be like, you know, this is what's going on. This is my day. And kind of, it's good for your blood pressure, essentially. Like, I'm dead serious about that too. Because
don't eat salt and don't fight.
The more you heat yourself up, the more you think about this stuff, like, and the more you talk about it, you're going to start to hit that boiling point. Your blood pressure is going to get pretty high, so you got to come down from it, and then start talking about it again.
No, it's completely true too. You'll, like, for me too, especially if you're someone who can't do conflict, like, your heart will go nuts. I'll get nauseous. I'll get a headache. Like, it's not good for you physically. No. So, and even if it is you fighting with each other, you need that time to think too. And that's why on, like, social media and stuff now, communication is so awful, because everyone has an instantaneous response. And you need time to breathe, like, literally just take a deep breath and think. Because there's a lot of times where, like, maybe you'll say something or you'll do something that frustrates me, or vice versa, and I'm the kind of person who's like I said, I'll shut down and I will get very, very quiet and then be like, I'm not going to talk about this now. Like, I'm going to wait for the right time. For me, it's always right timing. And a lot of times, if you actually let yourself sleep on it or think about it for a couple days or whatever, then your emotions have calmed down, the instant anger's calmed down. You think about it, you think about how well you know your person, why they may have said or done whatever, and you go, that's really not that big of a deal, or yeah, I was overreacting or something like that. Versus if you had said something in the moment, it sparked a huge fight, then you can't think, you can't communicate well. And even in a fight, if that snowball gets going, a lot of times it's good to put it on hold. And we've had this where we've been really frustrated with each other for even up to like a week. It's just tense. Yeah.
5 minutes alone, and then we can be best friends again.
Yes. You just know.
Oh, yes.
There's been so many inside jokes. They're probably like, you are retards. What the heck?
What are you even talking
about? But yeah, I take walks. I need to think. So I like how you said, like, even if you have gotten to that heated point in a conversation, then give it a break for a day and come back to it, because whatever then has been said needs to be processed by both people. Because if you give that instantaneous response, it's going to be either angry or you're going to be like, well, why did I say that? I really meant to say this, or this is what I'm really feeling. So if you have a day or a night or whatever to think about everything and come up with your responses and cool down, then you can approach the person again, which is a lot of times what I do. I'll come back later and say stuff and be like, hey, you know, by the way, and I know sometimes that's hard for gals, like you don't want to feel like you're beating a dead horse, and sometimes for the guys, you're probably like, why will she not stop talking about this? but yeah, so coming back to it later is usually my thing, or wanting to come back to it later, but then a lot of times, depending on what it is, I don't, because I'm like, oh, now the moment's gone, so it doesn't really apply, or it's just going to spark another fight. So it kind of depends. And then, like I said, if a lot of times I'll think about things, and by the time has passed, then you've relaxed and you're like, oh, I really was overreacting, or I do understand. And so I'm just not even going to bring that up.
I think it should be. I think it's noteworthy that we've known each other for, at this point, coming up on 7 years.
Yeah, best friends.
Yeah, like very close for about 7 years now, and
yeah,
I can only think of like times that I've ignored you or like cold shouldered you. There's like one time before we were dating.
The one time, yeah.
Yeah. So,
but even then, so we're gonna kind of sidetrack story here. I feel like this is gonna be the bulk of our video. We need to cut out everything else.
We can cut out everything before this. We can how to fight 101.
Yes.
Relationship fights 101.
Boy, because we're so smart.
Smart.
Not really. You are. But no, even in that, yeah, we didn't talk for a month.
Oh, was it a month?
It was a whole month. It was torture because we would talk every day before that. And yeah, so we had a blow up. I mean, actually, we'll just tell the story. This is a lot of people know this. So it was this whole thing. We had liked each other kind of we had been best friends, and it was like this: are we dating? Are we not? Are we getting there? Maybe. And then we had a fight, and it was like, well, it's not like we're dating or anything, or it's not like we're gonna be dating. And I think you had said that, and I was like, well, there's my answer. And so I got pissed.
Oh no.
And well, it was true at the time. We weren't.
No, and like that wasn't even in the cards at the time.
No, it wasn't. There was just that like background, like, oh, I like this person, or I think I do, or maybe.
And there was a lot of stuff going on in both of our lives.
Exactly.
I think at the time, you know, there was a lot of stuff going on. We were young. I think I may have just been coming off a relationship.
Yeah, shortly before that, probably a couple months.
And that was a relationship I didn't want to be in from the start.
Exactly.
So
I was in a tough time with school and work, and like mom had been super sick at the time, and so yeah, just a lot of stress.
Yeah,
and it was one of those times where we had just a miscommunication.
So communicate.
Yeah. But no, so for a whole month, didn't talk, and I was in the hospital. I was getting a IV treatment. You remember?
Yeah. Wow.
This is
I had forgotten about that.
Really? This is the one thing that sticks out to me about you always.
Yeah.
Always, and I tell people about it. So yeah, and there had been some heated, sarcastic conversations. Because like I said, we are very sarcastic people, which is why we have so much fun. But it can get ugly when we're not happy. So like we can snap, some quick-witted comments if we desire to.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so I was in the hospital. I was getting an overnight IV treatment. There was a creeper who I had gone on a date with, could not keep his hands off me. I was so freaked out. And he wanted to come to the hospital. And I'm like, I'm literally tethered to a wall and machines, and I can't leave. And I'm going to be stuck here with this guy. Like, and I kept trying to think of answers to get him away, and he was coming anyway. So I texted Steve, and I said, I know we're not talking, but this guy is coming up here. Could you please come up here and sit with me and get rid of him? He was there in 10 minutes. Didn't ask a single question. I could find the text. Like, you didn't ask where, you didn't say, well, this or that, or we haven't talked or whatever. You just said, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And you were there, and you stayed for probably an hour or two, and we watched YouTube videos, and it was very awkward. We kind of laughed a little.
That was before we were watching the Snoop Dogg animal videos.
Were we?
I think. Yeah.
No way.
She's a mongoose.
She's a mongoose.
I love it.
Yes. But yeah, and then you went home. We still didn't talk for about a week or so, and then
and you got the text, hungry.
It literally was. You asked. No, you did. You asked when our young adult group was getting together, because they had like regular meetings. We'd go out and get drinks and dinner, and then just talk about like your faith and whatever else. And so yeah, you asked. You're like, hey, when's the next Liquor with the Vicar?
Yeah.
And I answered, and then you asked if we wanted to ride there together.
That's right.
And I was like, all right, we're good. We're back.
Yeah.
But no, so even in the middle of all that, he was still instantly there. That's why I told you when we first started dating, like, you taught me to trust him.
I can't imagine not being there for someone. I don't care, like, if you're, and especially in that situation.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that I'd go to bone for. Like Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Like Rose is a mutual friend of ours, and she is like the nicest effing person in the world.
I don't think she's ever said, honestly, it's not even an exaggeration. Like, I don't think I've ever heard her talk bad about somebody or even negative about a situation. She'll like mention it, whether if it's work or something like that, and then she'll go, but the blessing in it was this and this. She's so positive. It's crazy.
But like, so even people I don't like, I'm trying to think of people I don't like, and I can't even think of anybody. There's a couple people who like I just would not. Like I won't say anything too hostile.
I mean, there's obviously people you don't like. And Danny will say, it's Scrub Tech who works with me. Hi, Danny. She will say, and it is 100% true, she goes, I think it's okay not to like people sometimes. Yep. And it's true. Not everybody has to be best friends. Not all personalities mesh well. It's okay for you to not like everybody as long as you treat them well.
Look, my roommates here, you know, like a few people know, like these roommates were not the best. Mm-hmm. I guess is a good way to
put it very mildly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these guys were insufferable. But even if
diabolical.
Yes. But even if one of them texted me and was like, "Hey, I need a ride."
You did do that one time, babe.
Yeah, yeah. But no, even now, so they're gone now because there is a God and He loves me. What?
You're such a brat.
No, but I'm serious. So they're gone now. But like, even if one of them texted me and was like, "Hey, I'm drunk at the bar," you know, I think I would show up. I can't imagine, and I think that's inherent with most people, though.
No, it is not, babe. It is so not.
I think people would show up.
No. No. That is what is always. That's why it stood out to me about you so much. Hell, even when I was dating somebody else, you would, which I'm embarrassed to even say.
Not about that, but we're gonna have to talk about your comment downtown at some point. Not in this.
Oh my gosh!
Most embarrassing moment. We're gonna have to talk about most embarrassing moments in a future video.
Boosted his ego to the sky.
And my ego's already huge. So, but yeah, your comment down there, most embarrassing moment. It was. This video is long enough.
Oh, but we're only gonna do the last section.
But we'll have a whole video dedicated to embarrassing moments.
Oh Lord! All right, we're gonna do that this weekend.
Great.
It's awful.
If you
I
guys
was a horrible
see
person.
that video pop up,
Do it.
Click on. Order that on pay-per-view twice.
Oh, God, that's so bad. But no, anyway. No, because even then, like...
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, would you
With my love. Shut up. Oh, my God.
That's funny.
Yes. But, wow. You're as bad as me.
Well, no, so I keep hearing them and I'm looking for them.
Fireworks.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. But no, like, even then, you would... When that person had my car in another state, you took me to work when I did the home care at like 10 o'clock at night, a house in the middle of the woods. It was so creepy.
Your car?
Yeah.
Who had your car?
He did.
Oh, weird.
My ex.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. He had my car, so I was trying to get back and forth to work. So you took me. You literally, again, he was like, yeah, I'll be right there. And then you showed up early for my shift every single time, so I didn't have to like text you or call you. And then half the time we'd go out and like get something.
Shift out in those haunted fucking woods that you
That's
see in
what
a
I mean.
Disney movie.
That thing. You would come out. You came out and got me for work there because he was off in another state with my car.
Yeah.
And
you wait outside of that house for too long, the trees are gonna start talking to you.
I know.
That place is creepy.
It was so creepy. I would speed down that hill, and you remember the bumps on that hill? I sped down there like so fast to get out of those woods. I was freaked.
That was like top 10 places to see a fucking Bigfoot or a werewolf or a skinwalker.
Or a serial killer. I know.
Or a serial killer, yeah.
I was so terrified to walk to my car.
Who chooses to live down there?
Who knows? But that house scared me so bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, you were always there, and people just don't do that. People don't go out of their way anymore. So.
Well, that's like, be good people.
Yeah, it's not that hard. We're good. So we have quite a few other topics we came across, so we're going to be making some videos for those, but otherwise, I will see you guys next week. I don't know if we'll upload a video that we made next week, but either way, we'll be back.
And that was basically like the How to Fight 101. If you guys, so for those of you who have been like in longer relationships, we've only known each other for 7 years, which is still a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
But for people who have like been out there, had longer relationships than that, leave your what you guys do for a fight, how you guys cool down after that, or what you guys think is the best strategy, not for like winning a fight, but for bonding through the fight. Leave a comment down below for like either us to read, which we read all your guys' comments, and it'll maybe help us out. It can help out other people who are reading the comment in the future. So if you guys have a strategy that you guys see really works, leave that down below.
Or just things you do together, maybe on a day-to-day basis. I know a lot of couples, if you're really religious, then you'll pray together. Some people will just have like little hobbies that you do together to just build your relationship. Just anything that keeps keeps communication open, keeps things lively, fun, lighthearted. Laugh a lot. I think that's the big thing is you get me out of being angry by making me laugh. It's not fair.
You laugh in the middle of a fight. I can get you to laugh anytime.
And it's so freaking annoying because I will be not aggressively angry, genuinely angry. Why did I say aggressively? And I can't make myself stop laughing. And I'm like, he needs to know you're mad. Don't laugh. But it is a lot of times like you laugh and you're like, all right, this really isn't a big deal. Whatever. So, but yeah, anything like that. Because like you said, we will absolutely read those.
Oh, yeah. If you did like the video, obviously if you found it helpful, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you guys can see the videos that we upload in the future.
There you go.
Yeah.